This is the top 10 gold farms of the week. Let us begin. Coming in at number 1 is a quick log gold farm, which is the Servant of Demidos. Located within the WoD based zone of Shadowmoon Valley, you'll be wanting to go over there with one of your ults each and every day and log in. You have a 1 time per character per day chance of getting this battle pet, and at a 15% drop chance, this is quite great to behold. Along with that, what you're going to be wanting to do is, by doing this more like a quick log gold farm because of the time lock on the daily with the based character. However, at a 15% drop chance, you don't really want to wait for the respawn because you won't get anything. So a quick log gold farm just makes incredibly a lot of sense. And roughly around about like 1 minute or less to actually do this if you are actually set up in order to do it. It works out quite well and able to pull in some regular gold each and every day if you do it as a daily practice. This is a great little gold farm in order to do for less than a minute, as it can net you anywhere from around about 5,000 gold for a level 1 based battle pet. If you save this in order for Squirt Day and level up to level 25, you can sell this on for around about 12 to 24,000 gold depending on your server. That being said, for a quick little gold farm, this works out great at number 1. Coming in at number 2, we have the Cobra Scales gold farm, located within the Outland and in the zone of Nagrand. What you're going to be wanting to do here is you're going to be wanting to make your way over to this area on the map and taking out all of the snakes in the area. You have a 10% chance of dropping the Cobra Scales in order for you to sell on the auction house. Cobra Scales go for around about 144 gold at the time of this recording, and that's pretty dang good for a standardized gold farm in this current day and age. That being said, when it comes towards Cobra Scales, it derives its value mainly from the TBC based transmog from leatherworking that you can actually craft into some decent transmog to sell in the auction house. So whether you have a leatherworker as well, you may want to craft some of those and then sell the rest on the auction house. Failing that, selling the Cobra Scales on the auction house works out quite well in the grand scheme of things, as you gain a lot of not hide leather, and with the other additional types of mobs in the area, you can use this as a combination gold farm in order to farm up some high value transmog in the open world. Overall, I find this to be a great little gold farm in order to do, and it just works out really well just for a standard material gold farm at the moment for this. So I'd highly recommend checking that one out. Now, coming in at number 3, we have the Dead Mines. This dungeon is pretty dang good in order to gain a wide variety of different types of transmog to pad out your auction house. Along with that, you can also get a nice little parrot battle pet to go along with this, and if you're farming on a mage, make sure to take out the monkeys, because you can get the Tome of Polymorph Monkey that can sell for a decent chunk of gold on the auction house as well. However, alongside that, the keynote items for this is definitely the Blackened Sapphireless Gloves, which is the keynote item going for around about 26,000 gold at the time of this recording as well. Other different types of BOEs that you get from this is Blackwater Cutlass, the Stone Mason Cloak, and the Weighted Sap. Those ones don't really sell for an awful lot of gold, however the Blackened Fire Gloves sell for a relatively decent chunk on the auction house, and the sell rate on this is actually pretty dang good for a old world transmog. When you're actually farming this up, it's more of a padding based gold farm in order to expand the variety you have in your auction house for this amount of transmog that you're actually going to receive. And by farming this up, you can also dreamwalk in and out of the instance for quick, easy use. However, failing that, behind the back of the Juggernaut at the end of the dungeon, you can always jump out of the instance. However, you will have to fly around to the other side again in order to actually go back into said dungeon. Overall, the Dead Mines is just a nice, quick, little, easy gold farm, especially if you're in for just padding out your auction house and getting started with transmog. Is one of those ones that I would recommend for just getting started with transmog and then just expanding from there. Following on to that, we have the Crush and Thrusher toys at number 4. We have 3 different types of ones located within Tanan Jungle from 3 of the rares. You have the Crush and Thrusher Mortar Controller going for around about 7,000 gold, Crush and Thrusher Cannon Controller going for around about 7,000 gold, and you have the Roller Controller going for around about 2,000 gold. These go from the 3 rares within Tanan Jungle, which is Drakum, Smash and Grab, and Gondar. This takes less than a minute in order to do, and it is locked per day per character. So as a quick log gold farm, much like the Servant of Demidos, this is a very good one to just park an ult there, and at a roughly 10% chance of getting each and every one of these per day, then that works out quite well in the grand scheme of things, especially as they sell relatively well, and with the amount of drop chance that you're going to get over time, you're going to have a nice stockpile to sell on the auction house and have some regular gold pulling in. I add this into my daily routine and it just works really well just for reliable, useful gold, and that's why I stick with it overall. Coming in at number 5 with reliability in mind is the 𝐆𝐀𝐕𝐨𝐢𝐝 farm. Located within the zone of 𝐵𝐻𝐴, you're going to be wanting to take over your herbalist. Ideally, you're going to be wanting to farm this on a druid, mainly due to the fact that they have a their travel form which they can herb without dismounting, along with having a speed bonus while they're actually moving underwater. That alongside if you have completed the 𝐵𝐻𝐴 introductionary quest to get your seawater increased movement speed, then you're definitely going to speed up really fast as those 2 things stack. That makes you incredibly fast at farming up herbs, and that means you can gather up a load of these herbs in a shorter amount of time than you would conventionally doing it without a druid. This makes it so that you're going to gain a load of different types of herbs within this actual zone for an hour's worth of farming, along with a load of volatile life to go along with that, Stormvine, and also the 𝐆𝐻𝐕𝐴𝐢𝐝, which is your keynote item. However, if you do bring a miner, you can increase the amount of gold that you gain per hour if you are using multi-farming and having obsidian ore as well as all of that. This one is just a quick reliable gold farm that I like to do if I want some quick gold overnight, and it just works, so I can't really complain right there. It's just worked in the past, it works at the moment, so in the future it's most likely going to work, and that is what I wanted to deliver with this gold farm for today. Jumping over towards the realm of RNG at number 6, we have the Scarlet Halls. The Scarlet Halls can be done relatively fast with any type of class. Preferably you want to do it on a druid for your dream walk in and out of the instance. Failing that, you can use a monk, which can use their meditate ability to do the exact same thing. And then what you're going to be wanting to do is just take out all of the mobs, burn them down, and see what items you can gain. The items for this is obviously transmog, and the items of note are the head splitter for 800 gold, the army's blanket going for around about 2,500 gold, the watchman pauldrons 400 gold, the claw of the shadowmancer 241 gold, the forest tracker epaulets 200 gold, and the Sparkle Shell Mantle, 250 gold, the Brawler's Gloves, 699 gold, Jorgen Bracer, 20 gold, the Deanship Claymore, 999 gold, and the Beazle Basher, 350 gold. I think you can see what's happened here is the gold value for these keynote items aren't very high. No. What you are going for with this dungeon, making sure that you do this on the vanilla based area. What you're going for is the variety of green items from this dungeon. What you're going to be wanting to do here is you're going to be wanting to gather up all of the items from that instead of these blue BOE items that you mainly go for. You're really going for padding out your auction house. That is because Scarlet Halls, the level around that area, has some nice unique transmog items in that level range and can actually net you in some decent amount of gold overall. When you're actually going in here for this, you're going for a massive variety instead of like a one keynote thing like the Cobalt Crusher with the Scarlet Monastery, for example, or the Scarlet Boots, what you're really going for with this one is a variety of different types of items for padding out your auction house. This is something that I preferably like to do, and I do this mainly like the dead mines. I do it probably about like 2 times or 2 to 3 times within a given month, and just use that as a way to pad out the auction house, keep the levels up in order to pull regular gold in every single day. And it just works overall in the grand scheme of things. Following on to that, and at number 7, we have the chewed on reins of the Terrified Pack Mule. Introduced to us within the BFA expansion and only droppable in the zone of Drustvar, you have a chance of getting a mount called the Chewed on Reins of the Terrified Pack Mule, going for around about 164,000 gold. This is pretty dang good, and what you're going to be wanting to do is taking out the hex-rolled mobs in the zone of Drustvar particularly. What I generally like to go to is this area on the screen right now and burning them all down as fast as I can. This is much preferably better done if you are farming this in a group, mainly during part of the amount of mobs that you can slay per hour will really help you getting a hold of this mount. This is mainly like the Golden Mane Reins gold farm from Stormsong Valley, and it works most in part the same way and or method. This has a drop chance of 0.03% and can be sold on the auction house for a decent chunk of gold. If you're really wanting to gain the most bang for your buck with this mount, then I highly recommend farming this in a group instead of being solo. This will greatly increase the amount of mobs being produced in this zone in this farm particularly, and what you're going to be wanting to do here is just by positioning each and every one in an array and then being able to just burn all those mobs down, loot, and then just rinse and repeat that process until you gain the Terrified Pack Mule. It really works faster in order to get a hold of that mount in a shorter amount of time than you would conventionally solo farming. Coming in at number 8, and from the BFA expansion of Eternal Palace Raid, what you're going to be wanting to do is you're going to be wanting to farm this up for the battle pets. You have quite a few different types of battle pets you can gain from this, which is the Lightless Ambusher for 2,200 gold, the Mind Lost Blood Frenzy for 2,300 gold, this Octopod going for about 5,800 gold, and the Zangier Poker going for about 6,000 gold. All of these items go for a decent amount of gold overall. The Eternal Palace is now soloable on most characters if you are much geared in the grand scheme of things. Coming at the end of Dragonflight, you should be geared enough in order to actually solo this by yourself. I generally like to do this on my Demon Hunter because that reduces the risk of me dying, and overall I find this to be a great way in order to actually gain a hold of these battle pets that not many people are farming, and I can just sell them for a higher markup. And overall, for me, I generally like to wait for these guys till Squirt Day, level them up to level 25, and then sell them on for even more gold, because it's like double the amount that I've just stated for each and every one of them. Overall, if you get every single one, it's around about 14,000 gold. At level 25, to wait for that, it's around about 28,000 gold. So overall, for a quick raid for the week, then this works out quite well, especially if you're using this on an alt army that can all solo these mobs and or raid bosses. I find this to be a nice little quick gold farm in order to do, and it just works out great in the grand scheme of things. Now, coming in at number 9 is the 𝐆𝐀𝐿 Summoning Stone. This battle pet is the 𝐆𝐀𝐿, and this can be farmed from the Northern Barrens. Located within the Northern Barrens, you have the Kor'kron Outriders, and what you're going to be wanting to do is just farming these guys up. They're in the Northern Barrens, and this is from the Mr. Pandaria expansion as well. However, just farming these guys up from the Hellscream Labourers, the Mercenary Engineers, Kor'kron Marauder, Kor'kron Butcher, and the Mercenary Shredder. All of these mobs have a chance of dropping the 𝐆𝐀𝐿 Summoning Stone. The 𝐆𝐀𝐌𝐄 Summoning Stone obviously sells for a decent amount of gold. You gain a decent amount of transmog from this. You get motes of harmony in order to gain spirit harmony. And with this particular battle pet, at a level 1 just drop for this, it's around about 20k gold for this particular battle pet. That works out quite well, especially as not many people farm this up, and at a sell rate of 0.01, that works out quite well in the grand scheme of things, especially for a battle pet. Providing that if you level up to level 25, you can gain a couple of extra k gold, depending on whether or not you are willing to wait. That being said, with an array of different types of Mist of Pandaria transmog to go along with this, along with a few materials that you gain with this as well, this works out to be a nice little gold farm in order for you to do, and it's something I just don't see farmed that much anymore, even though it sells, and it's quite frustrating. But that means I have an edge. If no one else is willing to do it, I will definitely do it because I know the 𝐆𝐀𝐌𝐄 sells quite well. And overall, it just works out in the grand scheme of things as a reliable based gold farm for me over time. So hereby, I'm just telling you about it. It works. And other than that, let's move on to number 10. And that is for the Battle of 𝐵𝐻𝐻𝐿. Battle of 𝐵𝐻𝐻𝐿 is a raid within the zone of Tanaris in the Caverns of Time. What you're going to be wanting to do here is one time per week with at least one character, you have a chance of gaining a battle pet from each of the bosses. What you'll be wanting to do is going for 3 different types of battle pets, and that is Grotesque, which is currently going for around about 4,837 gold. The 𝐻𝐻𝐿𝐵𝐻𝐿, which is going for around 1,400 gold, and also Stink Rot, which is going for about 1,200 gold. And these are at level 1. However, if you are farming this up on the regular and do this on a multiple amount of alts if you want to, you have a chance of gaining quite a lot of these battle pets overall, as this raid isn't actually as bad as most people think. In order to actually farm up, it doesn't take that long in order to do, if you are willing to do the scenarios in a speedrunner-esque fashion. That being said, I enjoy this one as not many people farm these battle pets up, and these ones are the ones I stockpile for Squirt Day. I stockpile these ones up as they double, near on triple in value if they are at level 25, so they're a keynote one I like to save and then sell on the auction house overall. Other than that, that is the 10 best gold farms that I want to talk about for this week. If you want any other additional types of gold making resources or information, then please feel free to go over towards my website, which has a load of free different types of resource and or materials or worth it imports, exports, all that jazz. And if you are wanting to gain a hold of my TSM profile or any other video content, then please feel free to go over towards the Patreon. Other than that, have an awesome rest of the day, and I shall see you in the next video, which will be soon.